So you have to like make sure
Testing,
that.
testing.
Okay, okay, good. Yeah. All right, look at that. Hello, hello. You are tuned in to the Destiny Show, the show that heals hearts, minds, and soul. Tonight we are on a special topic that says money can't stop domestic violence. The reason why this topic is so important to us is because some people think that because you are rich that you doesn't experience domestic violence or that you could buy yourself out of domestic violence. Some people think that domestic violence is only for the severely poor people, the severely poor populations, the severely damaged communities. But we will see tonight because my special guest, Miss Lenora Yancey, is here to tell everyone that the community she lived in, the family she came from, that domestic violence still came and it came into her life as she had left her home from living with your family, mother and father, until dating, getting married, having children, experiencing various things. But let's let Miss Yancey give us some background information. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Christy. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, you're welcome. It is such a pleasure. So, as speaking with you, you told me about your family history, your family background.
Yes.
And so, at that time, you guys were wealthy, a well known family.
Yes, my family basically had money. Both parents.
Uh-huh.
I was not raised into poverty, and we were the second black family to integrate an all-white community. So we had the two cars, the two children. We had everything in the house with the white picket fence. No pets. Uh, and I was spoiled. I was a daddy's girl. My brother was spoiled because he was a mama's boy.
Right.
And it was a great life, you know. Although my father wasn't educated, my mother did have a high school diploma, but they were a working family. So we had anything we wanted. I never wanted for anything. And, you know, life was good. Life was good. But even with all of that, my life changed actually at the age of 9. And when that change came, it just spiraled out of control from that point.
All right. So, at the age of 9, what was the type of experience that took you out of being a 9-year old to being a victim?
Whew. Okay. For 50 years, I have held on to this, and this is the second time that I'm actually putting this out there. I was actually raped at 9 years old. Loss of virginity, loss of innocence. Never told anyone in my family. I knew the person that did it. And that started a lifestyle that basically spiraled out of control from that point. And then
Yes.
to make things even worse for me was I'm 9 years old. I don't know what grade I was in. I started school at the age of 4. But I also became a woman. So my cycle also started at the age of 9. So it was a lot of changes in my life that I couldn't address or I couldn't explain, so I never said anything. My mother would find out months later that my cycle had started, didn't understand why I didn't tell her. I'm 9 years old. I don't know what's going on with my body.
Right.
So I just told her it started, it stopped, and that was it. But I'm going to fast forward a little bit because from the age of 9, as children, we learn a skill. Our parents teach us how to walk. Our parents teach us how to get dressed, how to tie our shoes. I learned at the age of 9 how to have sex.
Yeah. And that moment in your life, it wasn't like you was being taught how to have sex. It was just one of those things as of that it was taken from you, and so you had to deal with it.
I had to not only deal with it, I pretty much ran with it. it was like the first skill that I learned.
Oh,
By the
wow.
time I was 12, my father found my diary, found out that I was dating, that I was sexually active, and that put a rift between the two of us. You know, for many of us young girls, your daddy is the first man you love.
Right.
And my father did not know his daughter at the age of 12. That was the first man I loved and the first heart that I broke. By the time I was 13, promiscuity had set in. I started smoking cigarettes and also started drinking and getting high off of marijuana.
Well, let me take you back to the age of 9 because this is really disturbing to me. So the person who molested you, because that's what it was, person that raped you, was this someone that was a family member or just someone you knew in the community?
It was someone that I knew,
Okay.
I knew personally.
Okay. And so I'm trying to take you back there, but I hope I don't put you in a situation where you would need to go see someone because at the age of 9 you said that from that rape and molestation, was it the feeling of the erection sort of that you were experiencing in you at that time that made you believe or made you turn to thinking that sex was good?
I'm going to be perfectly honest. I remember the initial act, but I don't remember it being painful. And I think it was because, and I did have therapy at one time, and the therapist said to me that I probably don't remember feeling pain because this was someone that I trusted and someone that I knew. So
Oh,
that
okay.
person made it probably apparently
Feel a
right
certain way
way.
to you because they knew at that time what they were doing and they didn't
Exactly.
want it to be a painful remembrance, and then you have to go tell your mom you're hurting in your specialist parts.
Exactly.
Okay, okay, I got that now. And the reason why I went back there is because I want every young person or every mother who has or woman who has been raped at a young age as a child, especially starting at 6, 7, 8, 9, that what happened to you is not your fault
Exactly.
and that you can't control anyone else's sexual gratifications and their behaviors, because when it comes to someone who is a molester and a rapist, they use certain techniques, certain touches and feels and certain words to draw you into that scheme at that time. And that's another part of the manipulation. And so when that occurs, it puts you into that bracket of victimization.
And sometimes I do try to go back into the mind of a 9-year-old, but for some, I don't know if it's because it's blocked that I don't actually see or feel anything. I just know that it happened.
Right.
But the whole incident itself, you know, where it took place, you know, how it took place has been totally blocked from my memory. And I think that's one reason why I had taken the initiative to start putting my story out there, because I'm hearing everywhere I go and places that I attend and conferences of these young girls that are being raped by family members, their father, brother,
Yes.
uncles. Um, if mom is a single mother, you know, the boyfriend becomes uncle whoever, and things change in their life. And
Yes.
they don't know how to say anything. And I'm 59 years old, so I've held on to this for 50 years. And my parents are deceased. Almost all of my aunts and uncles are deceased. and why God put it on my heart now to do this. I'm not going to question it because it's obviously in His time, and it was meant for me to do this now.
Well, let me ask you something, and this is a personal question for you as a woman, but um, all I can say is that I can feel for you at that age of going through what you have been through and been violated. But have you ever thought about or wondered what it would feel like if you had forgiven yourself?
Not at that time. Actually, this may be come a little shock to you. I didn't know how to forgive myself for everything that I went through and everything that I've been through until 2012. And
Wow.
the reason that happened, I mean, my mother was a very religious woman, so I was raised in the church, as many of us are. When she passed away in 1991, I stepped away from the church. And I did not go back into a church until 2008. At that time, I had already been baptized twice, but my life was still spiraling out of control. So when I got rededicated in 2012 and really understood the power of God and His Word and thought about everything I had been through, was when I finally learned that forgiveness was not for the other person.
That's right.
That it was for me. So
Yes.
as of today, yes, I am a much smarter and better person because of it, because when things happen to me now, I can say, okay, Lord, I'm going to forgive this person, but I'm going to forgive myself, because what I've learned over time is that you have to forgive yourself, because in most instances, you may not realize it, but you may have done something that allowed that action to happen. So you have to forgive yourself for allowing someone to hurt you, as well as forgiving them for doing what they did.
All right, well. Well, now see, this is where you and I will differ at in that situation, because as a domestic violence advocate and as a mother who has lost a child to domestic violence, I don't believe and I don't teach this, and I work with universities and so as well as middle school and high school students, and I don't believe, and this is in my heart, that I know that there's nothing that you as a woman or a girl or a teenager can do that can cause you to be raped, molested, or beaten by anyone. So when I say that what happened to you was not your fault, that's true. It is not your fault. And that's why I asked you about forgiveness, is because when you learn the true meaning of that, I forgive myself, that it wasn't my fault, that I had nothing to do with it. I did not say or whisper in anyone's ear that I want sex from you, so come and take it. I didn't offer myself to you. So when it comes to understanding the real true value of self-worth and forgiveness, that means that you know in your heart, in your soul, in your mind, in every piece of energy that God has given you, that you did not cause that situation.
And I am not going to disagree with that. I truly am not going to disagree with that. Let me explain why I said that for myself.
Okay.
I went on this tyrant, basically, of being promiscuous.
Okay.
And so I knew very well what I was doing. I actually got to a point one time that if I was getting paid for everything that I was doing, I would have been a high-priced prostitute. Because I was giving it away freely. I was giving my body freely. And at that time, I had no understanding in my heart or of my mind of why I was doing this. Again, it took years for me to understand that some of the things that I did, I was responsible for what I was doing to myself. The promiscuity, the getting high all the time, the getting drunk, to have that feeling. Those are things that I was well aware of. that I knew I was doing. And even though the hurt and pain came along with it, it was hard for me to forgive the other person because I was the one making those moves that was creating those certain situations. That's why I said it took me a while, a long time to understand the difference and the understanding, as eloquently as you put it, about forgiveness. It really took me a long time. Now, if you today, no, 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 I'm well aware of what I do and what I'm doing, making better choices, being more grounded in my faith, and not only just understanding the word, but understanding my worth. And I agree with that. I understand my worth. I'm better, so much better than what I was for those years between the age of 9 and basically 40. If I may go on, like I said, promiscuity, drugs, alcohol. You touched on that in the beginning, and I allowed myself to think that I was in love to a point that I got married 4 times. And each time there was an issue of some type of domestic violence, either physical, financial, emotional. And again, I didn't realize that I was looking for love in all the wrong places, but I felt that because I hurt my father so much, that hurting other men was basically I'm not going to say it's what I was supposed to do, but it hurt me to do these things, but at the same time,
It made you feel good.
It made me feel good, exactly.
And see, this is where it comes back at, is that, you're still stuck at that 9-year-old little girl.
Exactly.
And so that 9-year-old little girl has not healed. That 9-year-old little girl can't progress into the teenager, the one who you say was rebellious, the teenager who you say who was enjoying sex, the teenager who you say was out now trying various types of drugs, drinking various types of alcohol. So when you look back at where your life actually stopped, it stopped at 9.
Exactly.
So you had no teenage years that you can grow and you can mature into, that then would have led you into a mature adult woman.
Exactly.
And so when you then were looking for love in all the wrong places, all the wrong men, love in the drugs, love in the alcohol, love in that feeling of, I'm feeling high tonight, it's feeling good. Whatever space you were in at that time, it all was related to the abuse
Exactly.
at the age of 9. And so let's talk about this. Now we're going to go into the various marriages. Okay. Now you say you were married 4 times.
Yes.
And you were married 4 times because you was looking for that manly love or that fatherly love?
The fatherly love.
Okay, the fatherly love. And so when you were out looking for these various men, were you looking for something that looked like your father, tall like your father, spoke like your father, around your father's age? Or was it you were just looking for someone who was older, who could be a father to this hurt 9-year-old who were now in this adult woman body?
If I had to think back, I was looking for someone that was like a disciplinarian, because my father was a disciplinarian.
Okay.
So I was looking for that type of person, and at the same time, I was a good girl that was totally attracted to bad boys. So the badder the boy, the happier I was.
Okay.
Because it was like back in the old Western days, I guess. You love the ones that's toting the guns and can fight and protect you, and you don't like the ones that just want to take you out and have a good time. And it sounds a little crazy, but that was where my heart and my soul was taking me.
Yeah.
To that person who could fight for me and be there for me, and even if they didn't love me, could still protect me.
All right, so now let me ask this question, because I know you did say too that when your father found out when you was a teenager, I think you said at 12 or
I was
13?
12,
Okay,
yeah.
12. When your father found out at the age of you being 12, his daughter, the love of his life, the one you knew he would do anything in this world for, when you say that you had broke your father's heart and then it changed your relationship status with your father, was there a state in between that 12-year-old and then you becoming the, let's say, older teenager, then progressing into an adult woman, where you felt that your relationship was strained and abandoned?
Yes. But so much happened in between that time, because when he found out that I was sexually active at the age of 12, then I was date raped the next year
Oh, gosh.
at the age of 13 by two young men that frequent my community a lot. But at 13, I was also smoking cigarettes and smoking marijuana. The date rape resulted in me actually getting pregnant. So I didn't even know that I was pregnant. My mother was the one that figured it out. And that pregnancy, I was almost 25 weeks, I remember, I think, that resulted in what would be the first abortion. But my lifestyle still didn't change. It didn't change after that. It was like, okay, I'm 13 years old, I'm pregnant, my mother takes me away, we get the abortion done, my father finds out about it. Heartbreak number 2
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
him. It
Yeah.
was heartbreak number 2.
Oh, wow. And so,
I feel like I spent my childhood and my early teenage life breaking my father's heart because someone took something so precious away from me. And back then, if you asked me why I was doing it, I probably would have just told you because I want to.
yeah. Yeah. And then,
Yeah.
that's a natural response from a hurt teen, because a lot of hurt teens don't know how to speak their hurt and
Exactly.
speak their emotion properly, so that a counselor or either the parent can guide them into the right state of mindset that's necessary. And wow, let me ask you this, because for some reason in my mind it just keeps asking me to say something about when you were date raped by those two individuals. Now, was there a point during the action or before the action that you know or knew that you were in danger?
I knew I was in danger right before it happened. I remember the three of us were sitting on the porch, and this actually happened right within my parents' house. So we were sitting on the porch,
Wow.
and one of the gentlemen, well, one of the guys, were boys, I liked him. So the other one, they were friends. And we were sitting there, we were smoking cigarettes, we were drinking beer. And I remember one of them asking me to go and get a cup of water or something to drink. And the time it took me to stand up and go through the front door is when the actual incident, the attack happened. They both came in behind me. The front door was open. And the next thing I know, I'm laying right inside my parents' door. And I've got one that's holding me down
Right.
with the hand over my mouth, and the other one is raping me. And then they switched. I remember it like it was yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
And both parents were upstairs asleep. I never yelled. I never screamed.
Oh, my
I
God.
never said anything. When they were done, they got up, they left. The next day, of course, my name's Lenora, so you can imagine what word I was being called after that.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Oh, my God. Ooh, Jesus. This right here is a lot. This is... I'm like,
is.
and they were some bold, you know whats, to be raping you in your home when both parents are home.
And well, like I said, when it happened, it never occurred to me to say something, and I never said anything. Just this year alone, well, actually last year, was when I realized that for everything God has brought me through, and having worked with victims of domestic violence myself, I realized that I needed to tell my story as well. Because, and I'm not telling it for someone to feel sorry for me or anything like that. I'm saying it because there's so many young girls who are holding on to those secrets, who are close to my age or older, and all I want to say is
and
release
still
it.
have those broken hearts.
Yes, you
still
have to
stuck in
release
that
it.
age.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, oh my God, this is the reason why I do this is because there's so much that a lot of individuals don't understand when it comes to teenagers who are acting out, that they don't understand when it comes to someone who's been violated and raped. They don't understand when it comes to someone who's, acting sexually and progressively with various boys or men, and those who are looking for love in a man whom they're looking for as a father figure. And so, please, if there's anyone who has been sexually assaulted, raped, molested, who's dealing with these type of various emotions, please reach out. We have a teen dating violence number, and that number is a hotline number. It is 1-866-331-9474. Please reach out, because they can also assist with counseling as well as other resources for teens who are dealing with this type of just personal hurt and pain of being taken advantage of. Also, we have the National Domestic Violence Hotline. That number is 1-800-799-7233. Please reach out, because we want everyone who's dealing with domestic violence, who's dealing with rape and other type of abuses, to understand and know that what happens to you is not your fault. You are not responsible for anyone else's behaviors, thoughts, or wants. So please get help. It's very important. Just to give a little bit more data on domestic violence, that 3 women per day are being murdered by their boyfriend or husbands per day. So that means that there's so much that's going on out here, and people are not reporting domestic violence as much as they should, because they're afraid and they're intimidated. And then it's a personal attack and abuse on that individual. Please remember, you can get help. And I'm going to have to bring you back for part 2, because you have a lot of information that a lot of women need to hear. So we're going to do part 2. Please remember that you are tuned in to the Destiny Show, the show that heals hearts, minds, and souls. And if you're looking for any help or resources, please visit my website at www.findingyourdestiny.org. Thank you, and have a good night.